Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this In Conversation program with a very interesting gentleman today. But before that, a quick introduction. So my name is Moloy Chakravorty and I'm the founder of Bioguard Hygiene Consulting. We are a business coaching firm. And one of our mission is to touch the lives of 500 business owners every year. And to that effect, we have these conversations with multiple business owners on these Wednesday evenings, into understanding what their journey has been and why they are doing what they are doing and what is the new thing that we can expect from them in the coming years. So till date, we have been doing entrepreneurs primarily from India. But today we have a very interesting gentleman, Mr. Stuart 𝗕𝗂𝗿𝗁. Stuart 𝗕𝗂𝗿𝗁 comes right from UK and he's joining us on this program for a very interesting reason, that while he's physically present in the UK, is emotionally attached to India. And we want to understand about both his journeys, the UK journey and why is India so close to him. So good evening, Stuart, and welcome to this program. And thank you so much for finding the time.
Hey Moloy, good to see you. And thanks for taking the time to have this interview with me. Really looking forward to it and explaining a bit about our journey from the UK to India.
Fantastic, Stuart. So let's start at the beginning before we come to the India aspect. Let's start at the beginning. So you are not the founder of Bioguard. It was a family-owned business, right? But you have been able to expand it globally. So tell us about the Bioguard journey.
Yeah, so the business was set up by my father and his twin brother. Initially, they were selling paper products and paper products such as toilet rolls and paper towels into the janitorial market. Okay. However, in the late 90s, the paper market became really highly commoditized with a lot of import competition, and they recognized the need to develop into new markets with more opportunities to grow and better profit margins. So around this time, there was a lot of challenges within the UK health sector with hospital-acquired infections, particularly MRSA, and there have been a couple of scandals in hospitals where people had needlessly died because of acquiring infections within the hospital setting. Yeah. And so both my father and his brother identified a real need to create a range of high-performance products to tackle these issues. So they set about, they bought out a local chemical company and took their R&D team on board and set about developing the Bioguard range of products. Mm-hmm. And so since inception, our vision really has been about researching, developing and manufacturing class-leading hygiene, cleaning and infection control products that protect users from harmful organisms within the healthcare setting.
Sure.
And so this is how we created Biochem, which is the compound we created for high performance cleaning and disinfection. Mm-hmm. And this is the active compound in all our product formulations. And this really delivers a range of unique USPs, which are built on 3 core pillars of performance. Primarily products that are powerful and proven. So we were one of the first product providers to have our products tested against HIV in the UK, and we did that in conjunction with research at the John Radcliffe University in Oxford.
Right.
And so we still are today one of the only product suppliers that have actually had our product tested against the HIV organism. Nowadays, users typically test against comparative organisms. So we've really been at sort of the cutting edge of research to develop products that are unique and effective. Our products are very much safe to use. Again, when they were developing the product range, they identified that traditional products such as bleach were hazardous, harmful in use, and really cause users a lot of issues in terms of use. And finally, the final core pillar was to develop products that are easy to use. Again, products that don't damage or degrade surfaces. And so we basically developed this Bioguard range of products built on these three core pillars of performance, and launched that into the healthcare setting within the UK. And you know, today over 15,000 healthcare users are currently using our products.
Globally, across the world?
No, specifically within the UK. And we're obviously now trying to develop and expand the use of our products into new export markets. So we've kind of been on a real journey, and it's amazing how now our products have just expanded beyond just selling into the healthcare sector, and quite often get photos and pictures from friends and family of where our products are in use in all sorts of places. You'd be amazed.
And those were probably not planned. Those were not.
No.
Not. So people talk in terms of having a business plan and target market, but your product seems to be going everywhere where you're not targeted.
Absolutely. I think the last one was my friend had come back into the office after the COVID lockdown, and the whole of the office was one big property office in London, and the whole of the office was plastered with Bioguard products, and sent out on the friends WhatsApp group of our products in use by people more than just healthcare or healthcare settings. Yeah.
So Stuart, ladies and gentlemen, I've known Stuart for now close to 2 years, and apart from him losing a few hair strands, I think he has not changed. So Stuart, tell us about your journey, because you have individually not only looked at the R&D side, but you oversee the production, you're looking at the sales side. How do you manage to wear so many hats at one time and without getting hassled?
So it's obviously a challenge, and one that I kind of enjoy. I joined the business originally primarily to focus on the sales and marketing, but as the business has grown, I've been involved in all aspects of the company, and in 2010 I was made MD, acquired out the business, so that then gave me overall control. And so, as you say quite rightly, I have to wear many hats.
Right.
I think the key thing for me is finding the right staff that you can trust, that can go out and manage the aspect of the business that they're responsible for, with obviously with guidance from me. But I think by having the right people in the right location, being really passionate about the business, just gives me the ability to wear the various hats that I do within a company. And it, for me, is super important. It's so critical to particularly a growing business that you kind of have that infrastructure in place.
Absolutely. The last couple of years has been difficult for multiple organizations with the Corona, COVID, whatever you will call. How has that treated Bioguard? Was it a boon, blessing in disguise, or you had your own challenges? Because I'm sure you had your own challenges with the kind of lockdowns that UK went through. So what has been your journey during these last 2 years, when a lot of disinfectant companies, and there was an article that I was reading in the Indian context, that 70% of the disinfectant manufacturers shut shop. People who had mushroomed during COVID, they shut shop.
Yeah, it's been really obviously interesting times for everyone. Yeah. And we've obviously been at the forefront of this pandemic, and it's kind of, as you say, it's been a double-edged sword for us, because when you meet with people, they kind of they say, oh, you must have had this amazing time and massive business and been booming, and clearly we've had a very busy time during the pandemic. we were one of the first product manufacturers in the UK to have our products tested against COVID-19. So that just escalated the level of demand from people for our products. But that created its own set of challenges. Literally overnight, just demand exploded. I mean, we were getting, monthly orders on a daily basis from some of our customers. And so that sets its own set of challenges up, because how do you manufacture products literally overnight? And how do you find the supply of raw materials to keep the production in place? And so during the pandemic, it was a really, really tricky time to manage that supply and demand. All the supply chain broke down. Fortunately, we manufacture all our own products. We don't outsource production. So a lot of our competition, who typically bringing products in from China, suddenly found all their supply chain disrupted. So we were fortunate in that respect, and we took an early decision in the pandemic that we were going to focus purely on our existing customer base, and that we were going to ration out product supply accordingly, and ensure that we maintain supply into critical areas such as the NHS in the UK. One of our customers, Network Rail, who are like the Indian Railway, so we're supplying their staff with products to protect them so they could keep the railway network going. So we took that tough decision to turn down business, which is a rare thing, for someone to do, a business owner to do. And stuck by commitment to our existing customer base. And I believe that stood us in good stead coming out of the pandemic, in that we created a level of trust and honesty with both our existing customers and the customers that we declined to take business from. So that was they were the immediate challenges, and it was kind of head down and trying to just deal with things on a day-to-day basis. But as you quite rightly say, on a longer term basis, a lot of new product entrants into the market, and there was a lot of product that has come into the market but has been purchased and is of dubious quality and efficacy. And so we've really focused on the education and trying to communicate and make people understand the importance of product selection, making sure you get the right products to meet your needs. And just to really clarify to people that it's not just a case of having a hand sanitizer. You need one that works, one that's effective. And so our challenge moving forward is really to keep that education process going, and to really differentiate ourselves from all these other product suppliers that have emerged out of the pandemic. And as you say, a lot of them now are kind of downsizing production or eliminating production. So we're starting to see that normality coming through.
Because we know in India, so many of these garage manufacturers came up. They just needed a container and add some ethanol into it, and it's all over the place, right? And nobody's questioning the efficacy, the effectiveness, or whether it truly is what it is supposed to do. And I think Bioguard stood out in that domain, that you continue to be on that quality, which is your cornerstone for success. But apart from healthcare, which are the other sectors that you're currently focusing on?
So we've got like a broad range of sectors that we supply into, but our core focus at the moment is really healthcare, pharma, the IVF segment, and anywhere really that users require high-risk protection from harmful organisms. Food production facilities are a good example of that, where there's a greater awareness now that you need to have a product that's performing and protecting.
Because the pandemic has also told us that, or showed us that there are other areas that needs to be protected, like probably the veterinary segment, or even the food processing and those kitchens and other places where there's a big opportunity coming up.
Absolutely. I think there's much greater awareness now, and it's just ensuring that people maintain that awareness, because whilst we're sort of seeing the tail end of this pandemic, there's still harmful organisms around. They don't disappear, and there'll be new organisms that come along. So it's really sort of an evolving and ongoing battle that needs to be fought to make sure that we maintain good levels of hygiene.
Absolutely. So Stuart, we have spoken about your journey. Now tell us, why is India so interesting for you? Because we all know India is a difficult market, right? It's extremely difficult market, both in terms of size and complexity. And I have known you for 2 years, working day in and day out, trying to establish the Bioguard brand, which is now currently, you're moving into that inflection curve of the growth journey that is coming through. But why is India so interesting for you?
Well, we've really identified that it's a huge and developing market, and it's fairly dynamic. And particularly in the premium segment, there's a real need for, and a real users really value products that perform at a high level, and there's a greater awareness now that there's a need for these type of products. So we really see an opportunity to come into the premium segment of infection control within India, and provide our products, and combined with a long-term vision to just educate and impart knowledge to users on the importance of good hygiene and correct product selection. And we really think that we can deliver that into the Indian healthcare market and become a really big premium player in that segment.
I remember asking you this question, I think it was about 18 months back, when I asked, Stuart, what is your long-term commitment to India? And you had mentioned that I'm not going away from India at all, and I want to grow this business. Right? Yeah,
absolutely. I think we've worked really hard here as Bioguard UK to develop the UK market, but we recognise to really grow and expand our business, we need to get into the export market. And as you say, our commitment to India is on a long-term basis, and hence we've set up a subsidiary, and we've got a team now working out in the field, delivering our message and our vision to end users, and creating a really strong distribution network for our products.
So while I know that you have a very strong team in India, and you've also built a distributor network, but for people who are watching you, they may not have interacted with you directly, but people who are watching you today, or who would watch this recording at some point in time, what's that message you want to give to the healthcare, especially people from the healthcare and pharma segment, that why should Bioguard be a product of choice for them?
Well, I think the reason that they should be selecting Bioguard, it comes back to the uniqueness of our product range, and those 3 core pillars of performance about powerful and proven products that are safe to use and easy to use. We can improve the hygiene levels within your organisation whilst making it simpler and safer for people to use the products. Mm-hmm. We have a complete range that can offer infection control within any healthcare, pharma or IVF segment. And we're supporting that with obviously the infrastructure locally to provide, ensure product supply, ensure consistent product quality, and also to tag alongside that the really important thing about educating and imparting knowledge to users, so that they can really understand what they need to do and the challenges that they face, and the solutions that we can provide.
So obviously there are multiple players in this segment. There are those established players, and there are those players who are, will not call them by any name, but there's players who may not be very effective, and the efficacy may not be too high. What is that single thing that differentiates you from the big boys? And if you want to, would you want to say, would you want to talk something about the premiumness of the product in terms of quality and pricing?
Yeah, So I think that's where we kind of create that differentiation, is that we bring the premiumness and the quality, but we also deliver it at a competitive price,
Right.
and we can really position our products into that segment quite nicely, and I think we've seen that with our introduction into some of the accounts in India where they're kind of really valuing that.
You mentioned during the course of our conversation today that Bioguard is the only product which is tested against HIV. Probably. Did I hear that right?
Yeah, so it's actually been tested against the HIV organism. Most products now are tested against substitute organisms because they just follow test standards.
Yeah.
But when we developed our product range, there weren't any test standards, so we had to create those standards and set the standards in the industry.
What about COVID? Is there some tests going on against COVID, or is there something?
Exactly the same principle again, where as soon as this organism was identified, there was no testing procedure, and people were relying on substitute organisms, or they were relying on very old testing. So again, we went to testing laboratories, and we kind of worked with them to set the standard and get the testing against the organism. And one of the things that we do when we benchmark our testing is that we ensure that when we're testing, we test our products in dirty conditions to ensure that it reflects real life use. And so a lot of our product suppliers won't do that. They'll do laboratory clean conditions. And so we really do put our products through the paces when we do the testing.
So fantastic. I think the Indian community, but the healthcare community will probably have some piece that it's a product that has been tested, and one of the very few products that has been actually tested against the viruses, rather than the substitutable fudge that a lot of people use for testing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So Stuart, there's something on your background that says we aim for Mission 500. Can you throw some light on that?
Yeah, so we've obviously sat down and we've really looked at what our vision is and what our journey should be for India. And so for this year, for this fiscal year, we've created our Mission 500, which is our overriding vision to find 500 new customers within the next fiscal year, engage and communicate and educate over 500 social media users, and get them to follow us on a regular basis, and also finally to increase our sales by a minimum of 𝗵𝗺𝗺𝗺𝗺 this year. So we've really built around this mission, and we've created a really great strategy to take us forward for this year, and then hopefully we can build on that and kind of develop it further over the next 2 to 3 years.
Truly awesome, because I see a lot of communication that goes out from the Bioguard is more about education and knowledge rather than direct product selling, and I see that itself as a great differentiator between what Bioguard is communicating and what the other competitors are communicating. I think that is a strong pillar for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think nowadays you just need to be more than a product supplier. I think people have got an expectation of more than that, and we feel it's really important, particularly when you get situations such as COVID-19 or pandemics, and you have the monkeypox pandemic. It's not pandemic yet, but virus happening at the moment. So people need to be informed, and they need to understand what are the risks, and what are the solutions, and how can you protect yourself. That's something that we're really keen on focusing on.
Having Google around is a blessing in disguise, that you get a lot of information, but not all the information that you get is the correct information. So the educating by the company themselves is very, very important nowadays, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, to give a simple example, during the pandemic, we'd get a lot of inquiries around, well, I've got this product that's antibacterial. Is it going to be effective? Well, No, because it's only effective against bacteria, and COVID-19 was a virus. So there's a lot of misinformation within the market, or misunderstanding by end users, quite understandably so, because it's complicated. It's a complicated issue, and
sure.
and the market is often muddied by product suppliers not giving that clarity of information.
Absolutely. So Stuart, as we come to the close of this interview, I just want to have a couple of views of yours. Bioguard has come a long, long way, and you have created a kind of a market niche for yourself with the kind of technology that you have, the kind of product ranges that you have. What next for Stuart Hay and Bioguard?
Well, I think our focus is really, for me personally, and also for the business, is to really develop the India market, and then use that to leverage out into South Asia, Southeast Asia more generally. Mm-hmm. We're doing quite a lot of work in GCC countries at the moment, and a lot of hospitals now are using our brand of products over there. And there's a lot of synergies between the GCC and India. So we really want to kind of solidify our position in these geographical and also in these market segments, and significantly grow our business, and see a real positive vision for that. Now we're coming out of the back of the pandemic, and
Correct.
Be over in September to see the team and really kind of push that forward with our customers and partners in the business.
So are we seeing you in India in September? That's what, did I hear that?
Yes, yeah. So we're finally being able to make trips back out to India again, and put my feet on the ground, because it's been a challenging time for everyone involved, having to manage these situations via Zoom, email and WhatsApp, and I think it's great to now be getting back to physical presence and physical visits, and being able to really sort of communicate with people face to face, because I think that's still required, even though Zoom and all this is a great help.
No, ladies and gentlemen, this is very, very interesting that here is a gentleman sitting in the UK, and over the past 2 years, through a remote model, has been able to establish not only the sales side, but the production side, the distribution side, obviously with the team and infrastructure in place. But you haven't met any of your team members, I am told.
No, I haven't. So literally everything has been done over Zoom, and that's credit to the team members that we've taken on board, because we've had to impart a greater level of trust, and they've had to make a greater level of commitment to make it all work. And I think they've done a great job on that, and it's fantastic to see. But it will be even greater to be actually in India again, and seeing and meeting them in person, and our customers as well. So really super excited and looking forward to the visit in September, and hopefully that will then enable me to do it more regularly.
Absolutely. I'm sure with travel opening up, you'll be able to travel more frequently out there, because you have not traveled, not because you didn't want to travel, because you were not allowed to travel.
Oh, absolutely.
So Stuart, you will be meeting a few distributors. I'm sure you'll be meeting some end users, etc., and you will be having those conversations. But to the vast majority of people whom probably you will not be able to meet this time around, because India is a vast country, you need to spend probably a few months in India at a stretch to be able to meet all those key professionals. To all those people whom you will not be able to meet, what is that single message that you would want to leave behind today? That why should they give Bioguard a chance?
So I think they need to, we'd really love to connect with people in India, because we can really improve and educate and deliver improvements to your hygiene and cleaning and infection control standards within your hospitals, and we'll make it easier and simpler to do so than existing competitors out in the marketplace. And we'll support that with a great team to educate and train you as well.
And locally manufactured as well.
And locally manufactured.
Locally manufactured in India. So Bioguard has committed, not only is committing, but has committed to local manufacturing.
Absolutely, yeah. We you know, that's been a big step for us, first country actually where we're exporting into, where we're actually doing the localized manufacturing, and that's really a testament to the team achieving that, and to our vision of actually having a longer term setup within India.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Stuart, thank you very much for your time. I know if we can get into a much more detailed technical conversation about the products, but that's for a different day. But thank you so much for your time coming up and speaking about your vision about Bioguard in India. Obviously, you are a very well established and accepted organization globally, but for the Indian clients, you have spelled out your vision. The Mission 500 is being seen, and we look forward to seeing you in India in September, and hopefully some of the key opinion leaders will be able to interact with you and understand more from you. Stuart, thank you very much for your time, and thank you. It was a pleasure talking to you, and till next time, till we meet again.
Great.
Thank you so much, Stuart. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for staying back with us. Till next Wednesday, same place, same time, in conversation with one more entrepreneur. Very good evening. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Moloy.